Good evening. I know I have a long list of big boots to fill after Mr. Mahadevan and Sagar and Mr. Kamalakannan. I myself, in fact, I think Mr. Mahadevan mentioned about professionals and choosing the right professional. And also, I think we spoke about what is entrepreneur. Interestingly, I have been both a professional and an entrepreneur. So that's where my career is, about 32 years in multiple industries. I've been also in retail for a long time. Before I started my career with the IT, in the IT field, I've been there in many different functions. The latest one, of course, I had what is Adrenaline. Adrenaline is actually a 20-year-old company for many of you who are not aware. I chose this topic myself, and it was interesting to note that a lot of people who actually spoke before me touched upon this in various angles. So just to actually make it a bit lively, I hope you understand what is EX and what is CX. It is not any engineering or a Einsteinist thing about E equal to MC squared, but it's something that I thought we should be thought-provoking and make it EX equal to CX squared. Can anybody tell me what is EX? What I mean by EX here? Employee experience. So employee experience and CX is customer experience. So the thought process here is, how do we make our employee experience so good that actually you get superior customer experience in your retail stores, whether it is online or whether it is in the store. Can I use the plus? Okay, so I thought I should share with you 10 thoughts, instead of boring you with what Adrenaline does and what we don't do, etc. It's a simple business. We are a company which provides HR solutions, right from hire to retire. Managing all your employee experience is what we do. I just thought I should actually give you some thoughts about what we have gathered over a period of time, having served more than 500 customers here in India over the last 20 years. Some of them, of course, you would know when I actually show you some of the names, with more than almost touching about 1 million employees who are using our systems in the current setup that we have. So number one, I think it was mentioned by some speakers, various speakers in various fashion. One is, I think, important for the communication to the employees, right, as to what the owner, the business owner, the entrepreneur wants them to really do. How do I connect my mission and vision with my employees? And that's, I thought, should be number one. And that actually pulls employees together and keeps them with you. Second, I think while we talk a lot about process adherence, that the right process has to be set in our showrooms, etc., getting the work culture right is crucial. And today, what technology provides you is to actually enable this in a seamless manner, more or less in a seamless manner. And that's, I think, what I would think as number two. The third thought that I had was to actually ensure we make human experience an integral part of operation. So one example I wanted to give you here is about one of our, good customers with more, Apollo Pharmacies, who have more than 40,000 employees in 5,000 stores. And what happened during COVID, if you think back as to what happened during COVID, they were the only stores that couldn't actually give leave to their employees, right? I mean, pharmacy, you run a pharmacy, you need them to be running 24/7. You need their employees to be motivated enough to come to the store, to serve their customers with the same zeal and the vigor and the experience that they need to have. And in spite of them falling sick themselves, they needed to be actually given that experience. So treating them as humans, treating them not as just employees and people who are just working for a job, I think that was a great learning for us when, of course, we had to run our support also, obviously 24/7. But then No, we did see this firsthand as to how treating those employees well meant that customers who walked into these stores also had a fantastic experience, even during the adversities that hit us in the last 2 years. The fourth thought, I'm very conscious of time, so I'm going to speed up. In case anybody wants me to pause, please do raise your hand. The fourth point I thought is an interesting point is about listening first. I think as management, as owners, as entrepreneurs, sometimes we actually kind of act first and then think about what those actions meant with our employees. It's my suggestion is that we should listen first and then act. Listening to employees need not be always, it's impossible, obviously, if you're spread out geographically, if you're not, in the same place, etc. But then there are mechanisms now for listening to these thoughts. So, for example, we have something called a very simple mood express that every employee actually, when he or she comes in, they actually say, okay, am I feeling dull? Am I feeling okay? Am I feeling great? Etc. And you actually gauge the mood of employees who come in. And you listen to them and you act, accordingly. So even if, for example, a store, person is not so well, but he or she has checked in because, they don't want to lose attendance, but then they mark, I'm not feeling so well today. There's somebody in the hierarchy listening to that and telling them, why don't you take this half a day off, or go to the back room and, have a nap, come back when you're better. So I think these acts are important when we deal with our employees. Number 5, very interesting. Do we look for an easy hiring process or we look for a great job fit? Most of the time we actually look at an easy hiring process. How quickly can we refill this position? How quickly can I actually get my employees onboarded? So why don't I actually get the first 10 people who apply? It doesn't matter, it's anyway going to manage a store. It's okay. I mean, is that right? How do I actually ensure these, the job fit is actually measured? So my feeling, go for a great job fit rather than looking at quick hires. Even if it takes time, it's better to actually get a great job fit, right? So choosing those, I think Mr. Mahadevan, right professionals. So I say right employees, looking at the job fit is I think being judicious about it is an important thought process that I'd like to leave on the table with you. The 6th point that I thought I should share with you is, do I want an efficient manager or do I want a good coach? Having been a business coach myself and for family businesses, I do see a few familiar faces here whom I have actually also been consulting with in my earlier avatar. Do I want an efficient manager or do I want a great coach? I think my bet is you need a coach. You need a coach who is a manager, who actually takes his people along, who takes his employees along. Efficiency can come in with bots and machines, but we as humans, I think we should actually look at how do we coach, how do we mentor our employees to build the skill sets that we need. Today there are tools that help you do this. Obviously we don't want the software taking over the process, but then there are many tools that help you with the decision making during this process. The next point I want to leave with you is about how do I optimize talent. So there is succession planning. I think Mr. Mahadevan touched about succession planning. How do I get the data for succession planning, even if I want to professionalize it? Succession planning need not always be to your son or daughter or somebody in your family. I think in Mr. Mahadevan's case, his son became the best professional, right professional to come and take over his business again. So looking at how do I actually identify that talent and optimize that talent, there are many tools that help you today in identifying such talent that can. So there is a lot of data that you can use in order to optimize. So point number 8, there are obviously, there will be grievances that come with employees, right? All employees are not the same. All people are not born the same. So helping with them, helping grievances to be handled. One of the things, ideas that we have seen work is to actually form a group of senior leaders rather than the owner, or the head actually coming directly and helping these employees with this. Small committees, cross-functional groups, help employees handle, they help the companies handle grievances better. Last but not the penultimate point is how do I actually give the best experience even if an employee chooses to leave us? And that's an important trait in building your brand, right? I think Sagar was mentioning about how people today proudly say about Wow Momos, being associated with Wow. And that's an important part of employee experience. And these employees who have a good exit obviously are going to refer more and more customers to us. Last point, which is where we come to adrenaline, is invest in digitalization. So there is a difference between digitization and digitalization. Digitalization means transformation through digital means. And I think today there are mature models that are available, and we are one of them. We are a pioneer in this space for the last 20 years. I think that is something that I would urge each one of you to look at for transforming your business, building better customer experience through your employees. So I'll leave you with this quote: no company, small or large, can win over the long run without energized employees. We all believe in that, right? So it's not just the owner who's important, it's also the employees who need to be energized. Thank you. Finally, just to say that we are here walking the talk with a lot of businesses in the retail space. To name a few: Marks and Spencer's, Cafe Coffee Day, Apollo's, like I mentioned, etc. A lot of these retail chains actually have benefited from digitalization, and I would like you to look at how EX can actually become not CX squared, but CX to the power N. Thank you.